Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Grounded. So we've got another video here that we're going to talk about some traps for the base defense, base raids, mixers, and stuff like that. So these are the traps we currently have in the game, and with base defenses not going away for the foreseeable future, I came up with an idea for 9 different traps, all broken down by tier. So basically, tier 1 would be some of your earlier resources that you get, mainly around the oak tree and stuff like that. Tier 2 would be your tier 2, like maybe going into the haze or getting berry leather and stuff like that. And then tier 3 is going to involve everything up in the upper yard. So we tried to break it down by resources that don't really get used very often. And then we'll go from there. So a little wolfie coming over here. So these are the first traps that we have right now currently in the game. Obviously, for the longest time, we just had our spike strips and our lure traps, which don't really do a lot. The spike trips do pretty low amount of damage to insects that are coming in to attack. And the lure traps don't really work for many of the insects. Now, I have had this one sitting out here for a little bit, and a bee did come over and just kind of hover right here, and he started munching on something. So they do kind of work. We may see a bee come over here and start trying to munch on that. Now, the newer traps that they've introduced we have here is the explosive bird trap, which is nice. It kind of combines the fungal explosions, but the caveat to it is it has to be hit with spicy damage to blow up, which is kind of frustrating. So if you're not using anything spicy, you have to go craft something spicy just to blow these up. Mainly like a spicy arrow if you're sitting on top of your base or something. Shoot an arrow at it, it'll blow up. Then obviously we have our pebblet and pollen turrets. The pebblet turrets do a nice bit of damage to insects during a base event raid, or the waft emitter or your mixers, but not enough basically. So I wanted to branch out and basically come up with some ideas that were a little different than what we normally have. So here's our lure trap working right now. So anyway, we'll leave him alone. The pollen trap obviously just is supposed to slow the insects down. We can look at it here. Deals extra damage, shoots pollen to help bring flying enemies to the ground, which it doesn't really work. I've tried it out on the mixers and everything, and it really didn't do anything to the insects. We got another bee coming over here. So we see right here that the lure traps are effective against bees coming over and trying to get something. So some of the ideas, we're going to break them down, like I said, by tiers. So we're going to kick out 3 tier 1 ideas, and then 3 tier 2 ideas, and then 3 tier 3 ideas. So here's our resources right here. This is all we need right here to build these new traps. So we can go ahead and look at it here. We're going to break down. The first one we're going to have is a thorn trap. I've got everything written down here, old school. So it's going to be 4 weed stems, 10 gnat fuzz, and then 10 clay. So right here, this is our ingredients for the thorn trap. And what it's going to do, it's going to be an auto shoot, similar to like an arrow trap in some of the other survival games. I'm about to deconstruct this thing because these bees are getting annoying. But similar to like an arrow trap that has a proximity sensor or something like that for insects, if they walk too close to it, it'll fire out arrows. And the ammunition that we would load it with would be the thorns. Now we can go ahead and just craft regular arrows to use as the ammunition, but I figured just thistle needles, you can go get about 70 from each plant, throw them in there, and when insects get enough, it's going to shoot out these thorns at them, causing piercing damage, obviously. All right, so the second one is going to be our web trap. Now this is similar to the dew collector that we already have right here, so it's going to be a similar idea, except instead of collecting dew, it's going to trap enemies. You've seen some aphids, you've seen larvae and stuff like that get trapped in the regular spider webs, so I want to do something like that, but use it as a defense for our base. So insects will get stuck based on their size. Obviously, it's probably not going to trap a wolf spider, but your aphids, your weevils, gnats, larvae, smaller insects like that, ants and stuff, it'll trap them in there. And then depending on how much they wiggle, they may or may not get free. So 10 silk rope, 10 crude rope, 10 crude rope, 10 silk rope, 6 weed stems, 12 quartzite shards, and then that's our web trap. So the next one we're going to look at is a gas trap. Now, gas damage is something that I've really thought that we as players should be able to harness. So I came up with the idea for the gas trap here. It's going to be 5 stink bug parts, 3 stink bug gas sacks, 5 acorn shells, and then 2 acorn tops here. Now the idea behind this is to do gas damage. So you'll have to kind of load up ammunition, and your ammunition is going to be the stink bug gas sacks. And say the stink bug gas sack, you load it in there. It's going to be similar to a lure trap. Instead of just going straight up, though, to affect flying insects, it'll probably do like a 10 by 10 little area of effect damage to insects that get too close to it. So basically, you can have a gas trap, little gas pit set up around your base, and insects that come in will start taking gas damage. So something I thought of right there. Let's go ahead and jump to the tier 2 now. Tier 2, obviously, you're going to be using different resources for these ones. And one of the first ones I thought of was the poison trap here. So 5 spider venom, 6 iridescent scales, and then 10 lily pad wax. Like I said, just trying to use some of the things that aren't already being used too much for armor upgrades, weapon upgrades, and stuff like that. So this one is basically going to be like a burning poison candle, right? So the wax melts and the poison that's inside the candle basically starts to melt and cause a puddle of poison damage. It'll do like 10% damage, 10% poison damage every 5 seconds. Now this one, I wouldn't say you'd have to load. All of these are going to have durability, so they will take damage if insects come and attack them during base raids and stuff like that. But I wanted some of them to actually have resources that you would have to continuously fill in, like the gas trap, to continue to do damage, but this one will just be poison damage. So if an insect gets too close and it steps in the puddle of poison or whatever, it's going to start taking poison damage. Obviously, probably wouldn't be useful against orb weaver juniors or wolf spiders and stuff that already have poison attacks. And the next one is going to be, I think, one that a lot of people have talked about is a gum trap, a sticky trap, right? So 4 gum nuggets, 8 bioluminescent goop, and 6 boiling glands, and we have our sticky trap. So basically, this is going to lay down a big old stretched out piece of gum that insects, when they walk into it, will get stuck in. And it's going to slow insects down by 50% while they're in there. So basically, when they come to attack, they step on that. It's going to basically kind of lock them down right there. That way, it gives you an opportunity to attack them without taking damage. And the next one is going to be similar to the explosive bird trap, but I don't like the fact that, like I said, you have to shoot something spicy or hit it with spicy damage to have it explode. So this is going to be our Haze fungus trap. So we have here 10 fungal growth, 10 clay, 10 grub goop. So this is going to be similar to the Haze fungus that's already in the Haze area. And so basically, anytime an insect gets close to it, you're basically replanting some of the fungus. So it's going to have the explosive capability of the explosive bird trap, but it's going to operate more along the lines of those haze funguses that you see throughout the haze that are pulsating. And when you get too close, they'll blow up. So this is going to be the exact same thing as that, but maybe we can plant them around our base, and insects get too close, they take some of that explosive damage. So something like that by proximity. Obviously, if they get too close, just like when we get too close to the haze fungus in that area, it explodes. It's going to be the same thing, but in terms of this time, it'll do it to the insects. So looking at our tier 3 traps here, and I tried to keep them somewhat separate and more original, no pun intended, from each other. So we have, different kinds of traps that we can use against the insects here. Tier 3, we're going to start with our splinter trap here. So we got a ton of wooden splinters around the yard now. The picnic table, termite area, up on the shed deck and stuff like that, I believe. So this is going to be 10 wooden splinters, 5 roly-poly shell, 5 lint rope, and then 4 weed stems as well. This is going to basically be like an upgraded version of the spike strip from the tier 1 traps that we already have. Except this one is going to be like a bigger area, biggest surface area. So this is just a little one down here. So if insects step on it or run into it, but I kind of want to have this one be like a weed stem wall. So if we go ahead and build, if we just take like this right here, right, and then we're gonna have wooden splinters sticking out from it to where insects, so that you can actually use this as a wall for your house, and then it's gonna have defense measures on the wall itself. So have wooden splinters sticking out right there, and then when insects come to attack that wall, they're automatically taking like thorn damage. Basically, it's gonna be piercing damage similar to the spike trap. So that's the idea for the splinter trap. Next one, going to be similar to the gas trap, and that's going to be a dust trap. So this one, I have termite king carapaces here. We can swap that out with basically just termite pieces or whatever, or termite soldier or worker pieces. But 3 termite king carapaces, 6 bug gloop, and then 10 dust mite fuzz. So basically, the dust attack that the dust mites do, that's kind of what this is built around. So it's going to do lower stamina by 10% every 5 seconds, and then lower attack speed by 10% every 5 seconds. Or lower attack speed by 25% every 5 seconds. So basically, if you fought the dust mites at all, you know if they hit you with that dust attack, it does give you a debuff, right? So this is what we want to do with that. We have this, set it out, and maybe it's going to operate similar to the lure trap and the gas trap idea that we have. And then basically going to slow down their stamina and lower their attack speed as well. Basically making them take a lot longer to sit there and try to break down your base. Because I know, personally, I haven't had a lot of base raids. The only ones that I have had have been red ants. I was sitting up here just gathering resources for this video out of nowhere. Wasn't even over near the red ants. And I got attacked by red ants up here. So, but for the people that are getting attacked like constantly with base raids, maybe this is a way to negate some of that damage that they're going to be doing to your base. If you could just fully lay out like defense mechanisms that are going to be around your base to maybe even kill the insects without you being there or having to run across the map to get back your base. So the last one we have here is going to be an upgrade from the gas trap that we have for the tier 1, and that's going to be our super gas trap. Probably already have an idea of what we're going to be using for this one. So for me, currently, the green shield bug is not respawned, similar to the termite king. So there's a lot of bugs still going on with this bug strike back update with insects not respawning for me. But this one's going to be 5 green shield bug parts, 3 super stink sacks, and 8 pupil leather. Now again, pupil leather, it does get used, but there's a ton of pupil up here, similar to the berries. The biggest thing with armor upgrades, and I'm not beating a dead horse here, is the grubs and the sap, right? So pupil leather you're going to have a ton of, berry leather you can get a ton of. But this one is basically going to do gas damage over time, similar to the gas trap, like I said. So instead of putting a gas sack in this from just the stink bugs, you'll have to put a super gas sack in here, and it's going to do gas damage over time. And 1 super stink sack would last 3 in-game hours. And the same thing like the lure trap, it's going to burrow up to potentially take out flying insects. I guess the bees got done with it. So it's going to go up to deal with the flying insects, and then also deal a area of effect damage. Similar to like when the stink bugs do their gas attack, it kind of formulates a little cloud around that area. Similar thing right here. So that's 9 new trap ideas I have for grounded. I don't want base defense raids to go away. I kind of wish they were more, I guess I wish we had more information on them, like how much is the faction affected if we're in that area, how much is it affected if we kill them, and stuff like that. But I think having a lot more traps and a lot more options to use in our base defenses or mixers or waft emitters and stuff like that would make the game more fun, because right now just throwing down some of the spike strips or even the explosive bird traps and trying to use the turrets isn't that fun. So I think especially with multiplayer, you have other people laying down a lot of these traps that are basically to debuff the insects when they come attack you. It'd be a lot more fun if we get bigger raids and more interesting raids down the road. So that's what we got for this video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'd love to have you join the community. Link to join the Discord in the description. With that being said, everybody, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and as always, stay original, my friends. We'll see you guys in the next video. Later.